Hi, welcome to Leland Fly Fishing and Fly Tie Night tonight. I'm Brandon Moon, and today we're going to be tying up a GFA Hopper variant pattern. The GFA Hopper's a classic hopper, very easy to tie, very fast and extremely effective. Today we're going to implement a synthetic wing material that's going to make it easier, faster, and give you more color options with your wings to pair with your color options on your foam. So with that, we want to go ahead and get started real quick tonight. The hook we're going to be using today is the Moonlit Premium Tagata ML 411 in a size 10. We like to tie this anywhere from like a size 8 through 12. You could do a size 6 if you want as well. We're going to start that thread just behind the eye of the hook, but I'm going to cover the thread all the way up into the eye, and then I'm going to lay a nice even foundation just because it matters to have good foundation on all your flies. We're going to wrap this back to the bend of the hook, and at this point I'm going to trim out my thread. The thread that I'm using is Semperfli's Classic Wax A-Dot Dark Mocha Brown. For the body, underbody on this, I'm going to tie in some Semperfli Gel Core Micro Fritz in tan. And I'm just going to tie that in right there. And we'll secure it down. It's nice and neat. And once we secure that down, I'm just going to go back to the back end of the hook, and you'll see why I'm going to go back to the back again. Go back behind the thread. And I'm just going to wrap this micro Fritz forward all the way up to the eye of the hook. And once I've done that, I'm going to go backwards again. And this is just to make this pattern fast and easy to tie. So we'll go all the way back to the thread and the bend of that hook again, where I'm going to tie that off with some wraps over the top. Just secure it down nice and good. I'm going to set my thread off to the side so I don't snip it. I'm going to take a razor blade and trim out that micro Fritz so I get a nice clean cut. Now I'm just going to give another wrap over the top. I'm going to take some Loctite super glue with the brush on applicator. I'm going to give a good amount of glue onto the top of this body here, the gel core. And this is so I can put my foam on and just help keep it in place, lock it in. Here I have some foam, cut the width of the hook gape. I'm going to place that on the top. You'll see that I have placed it back so that it extends past the bend of the hook. Now I'm going to secure this down with a couple wraps. That's just going to secure it down. I'll tighten it down after I've got a few. You can see I've got a little rounded body end to that foam as well. Now I'm going to crisscross over the top of that and segment this body out. I'm going to have 3 different segmentations to this body. I'm going to take some Snake River Fly laser legs in Sculpin. I've pre-cut them in Force. I'm going to tie that in so that it extends just down past the back end of that tail. And I'll secure that in. I want the legs to angle downward just a little bit. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Again, I want the angle of those legs to go down just a little bit. And this is a little variation that I do on my GFA compared to the traditional. We'll seat that down just a little bit more. Now again, I'm going to create another segmentation to this body by crisscrossing over the top. And I'm wanting to kind of even that segmentation for these bodies out. I'll cinch that foam down again just one more time. Now I'm going to tie in the other legs, and you'll see it on this side. I just extend that forward, and I'm going to tie that in with the legs right there on the underside of that foam. And this just gives me a little more reach on my legs without them being right next to each other. Now I'm going to go and crisscross again all the way up to where I go to the eye of that hook, making sure I don't capture the legs as I do so. Once I've secured that down, I'm just going to tighten that foam down just with a good few wraps, making sure I don't capture the legs. Now I'm going to pull that leg back and crisscross back to that segmentation there, making sure I don't capture the legs. This is where we're going to tie in our wing. For our wing, we're using Hogfish hog wing. This is a synthetic wing material. We're using the Teton, which is some dark brown colors. The foam we used is the Moonlit zero gravity 2mm dark brown foam. You can see I'm going to pull that back over after I've tied it in so that I can trap the wing material and make it more durable so the material doesn't slide out. Once I've secured that down, I'm going to take my scissors and trim out my wings so that it's just short of the back end of this hopper. We'll pull the remaining foam back and secure it down at that segmentation there so we get a nice good head on this hopper. I'll trim out my brown foam. At this point, I'm going to take some 1mm bright orange, and this is just going to help give me an indicator hot spot on this hopper just so that I can see it a little bit better. You don't have to do this part if you don't want to. Again, this is going to be trimmed just a little bit narrower than the 2mm foam that we use for the body. So we'll secure that down with a couple wraps, trim it just a little bit short. Now we'll trim out the back end on the wing here, the over wing. Make sure that I trim out my indicator foam so that it doesn't protrude over the top of my body there. And there we've got our indicator as well. I'm going to take some super glue and just put a little bit of super glue on my thread. Once I've done that, I'm going to take and whip finish this and use that super glue to help seat and secure a nice good durable knot. So we'll do 2 whip finishes today. With that super glue, we've got a nice durable knot. Trim that out. The last step is to trim out the legs at the front and trim out any wing material that kind of protrudes out the sides. So the front legs, I want to be shorter than the back legs just a little bit, and just extending past the eye of the hook. Once you've done that, you're done and ready to go. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.